What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Tsunami Bomb, as well as a very sleepy Luca. We'll see if she lets me move her. She recently was grooming herself and she tends to get a bit ornery. Are we good? I think we're good. But yeah, we're going back to the definitive act. I did look up in the meantime what their previous album, their first album on Kung Fu Records was in '02, and it was called The Ultimate Escape. In any case, we are back to the definitive act and the second track, as I mentioned, in that my reaction to Dawn on a Funeral Day, and the second track being Alright, is the one that I remember being my favorite when I listened to this when I first got it. I don't remember if it's one of the tunes. I assume it was, because they played when I saw them in '04. It was basically on tour for this album, so presumably they played most, if not all, the tunes. But yeah, when I got the album, I remember this track really keying into the type of punk that I was listening to. Was, fast, rip-roaring. Did I say techno? I feel like I said techno. Hopefully I said punk. You do so many of these videos, sometimes you just sort of fall into saying certain phrases, and then suddenly your brain's like, "What? No, hold on. I think there may have been an issue there. There may have been a system error." Nevertheless, it did fit into a lot of the punk I was listening to in the early 2000s. And yeah, I don't remember too much about this one lyrically. I remember the sonics more than the lyrics. What I will say I remember about the lyrics is that there seems to be a big shift that happens. Like, it's talking about things being bad and, like, being in a not good place. And then I think it's both the image of, like, the sky changing color to blue, and then maybe like a wind or something that everyone can feel, and then suddenly things are in a much better place. So being Alright, I feel like whatever the lyrics are in the direction I just suggested, there's a poetry, a literary quality to them. I remember that on pretty much every track on this album. So let's see what it is, and then after we listen, I will look up the lyrics specifically, as I did with Dawn on a Funeral Day. Luca, you are ridiculous. Here we go. This is Tsunami Bomb from their 2004 album, The Definitive Act, and the track is called Being Alright. Make sure we actually have everything on.
Curtains rise up.
not like, I didn't remember that little sort of dramatic, not really slow down. It was just a very quick interlude, but the sort of the weight of that section, I didn't remember that little part. But yeah, ultimately I enjoy the really energetic track. It is sort of what I remembered. Definitely the sky turning blue and the wind of change that people can feel. But there's some other lines that I didn't hear completely on this listen, so I'll check the lyrics in a moment. Once again, I have a very adorable sleeping Luca on my lap. But yeah, her voice sounded fantastic. Again, it's different now that I'm going through Survival Guide, the context in which we hear it, and it's a more or less straightaway true voice. They're not doing anything with distortion here, and it's just like a punk rock group. But I think she really does sound fantastic. The chorus, the first like 2 lines of the chorus in this one, I think like her voice really comes across well, and then or in a good way, I guess, better grammatically. But those long extensions, it's she really had a lot of like belting power. So yeah, ultimately I remember her vocal performance, and her stage presence was part of what made me buy the record, as I said, or the CD in this case. When I saw them live, it was like, man, they really rock. And the the lead singer, who I quickly learned was their songwriter, she definitely had a very impactful presence, as a dog agrees with me, in the nether regions. In any case, yeah, ultimately let's look at the lyrics. Let's see if we can get Luca, who does this like, oh, I'm purring and I do this stretch thing right when you go to move me. What do you think, Luca? You're not helping, Luca. You're making the video longer. These people have things to do. Okay, let's see if we can just... Okay. I think we're good. Okay, so the lyrics for this one, which I did in this case have ready to go. Okay, so when things are as bad as they can be, dark curtains rise so everyone can see that the sun sinks to the west and blue fills the sky. Everyone feels a great relief. The change in wind has changed our lives. Nobody knows what's in your future, though death and unhappiness are certain. I didn't catch that line, but that's funny. But one thing I can say for sure, honesty is the perfect cure for any stress-induced disease you have. Believe what you do is right, explain your reasonings, and everything will be alright. Which again, like those last few lines, like I feel like they tie into the first tune that we heard on the Survival Guide album. And the sun sinks to the west, blue fills the sky, everyone feels a great relief. The wind, or the change in wind, has changed our lives. And then it just repeats that again, although there's a double, the change in wind has changed our lives is the way it finishes. But yeah, so again, I think that's up to interpretation, but the idea of a notable shift, and perhaps understanding that even when things turn for the better, there's still going to be problems, and in the end we are mortal, so death is another certainty. But yeah, it feels like there's an optimism, and drive, or an ambition within all that. So let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.